You are now rocking with the best illmatic podcast with your host, Louis L. Reed. Surviving beats, overcoming breaks. We got motion. Your go-to podcast unpacking hip-hop, trauma, and transformation.
Yes, sir. This is Louis L. Reed, illmatic, surviving beats, overcoming breaks, here with my special co-host, my brother from another mother, PC, otherwise known in these Philadelphia streets where we are on location as who?
Pastor Carl, PC, Pastor the Hood, you know, one of the three.
Yeah, one of the three. Just don't call him late for dinner.
That's it.
We are here joined by two very special guests who I'm going to turn over to my brother, who immediately is on my right, and who's going to give a introduction about himself and what brings you here today.
You know, I'm here to tell my story, man. Well, first off, I'm Donta.
What's up, Donta?
Everybody call me Ruger.
Okay.
And you know, I'm here to tell my story,
Okay.
man.
Good to have you on, man. My brother.
What's up?
DJ Fr8 Train, aka Reginald.
Reginald.
Yeah.
What's up?
Good to have both of you guys on. Donta,
Yeah.
I heard that you have a very, very, very unique lived experience. Talk to us a little bit about that.
In 2010, you know, I was charged with first-degree murder, 4 attempted murders. I was sentenced to life in prison plus 32 years. And due to the acts of a corrupt detective, man. So
Wait, they have corrupt detectives in the
They everywhere.
I had no idea.
Man. Due to the actions of this detective,
Yeah.
like it's a lot of like fabricated evidence
Mhm.
and
Corruption, police misconduct, etc. You got your case overturned.
right.
Yeah. How long you been home?
So I've been home going on 7 months now.
Cue the applause. Yeah. So you had a life plus how many?
32 years.
Life plus that. That means that you were doing time, you had to die, come back, and you still had to do 32.
Exactly.
Before you saw the board. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Crazy.
And you've been home 7 months.
Been home 7 months.
Man, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for
Thank you.
And what were you saying?
Oh, man, listen, man, this is my brother, man. He grew up around the corner from me.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And his cousins lived on my block. You know what I mean? They used to come. We played football in the streets together.
Y'all play football on them cement streets that you
the
was talking
cement
about?
on the concrete, played on the block.
Football,
Yeah, the
concrete.
tackle on the concrete. So you
Still
came
got
up a
some
little,
of the scars.
yeah, different type of tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We,
that's
you
a
know,
different
growing up
type
how we
of
grew
tough.
up, but yeah, man, like you know, I done talked to this brother a ton of times since he been home. I talked to him while he was down. So actually, this is my first time seeing him back in person.
This is your first time seeing him back in person.
Back in person today.
Illmatic.
Yeah.
This is where we bring people together.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what's up.
This is
That's
my
what's
dog.
up.
So like, you know, I've been talking to him, man, and you know, he reached out to me anytime we needed to talk. And in between any of my busyness and stuff, be like, yo, I'm gonna get back, I'm gonna call you, and then we rap. So it's like having him, you know, right here, and being able to spend this time together where he get to share his experience, man, and you know, is big. It's big for me.
Reg, you've been impacted too, but
Yeah.
by the system.
Yeah, multiple ways. But recently, 2016, while still on parole, I was involved in a bad car accident. I got rear-ended by a drunk driver, and I was in a coma for like almost 2 weeks, and then in the hospital for like almost 3 months. And upon being released, I had bench warrants out for my arrest for failing to report to two parole.
Hold up. Stop the presses. Stop the presses.
What?
You get into a near fatal car accident
For sure.
that puts you in a coma.
For sure.
You're in the hospital. You're rehabbing. You're on parole. And you get out of the hospital. You get home. And you come to find out that you got 2 arrest warrants. Not one. Pascal, he only got one. He got 2 arrest warrants.
glad you still alive, but hold up, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
What was that like for you?
It was insane because it was like, you know, like when I came out of my accident, I really like, you know, what's his name? Muckmouth from Fat Albert.
Yeah, from Fat Albert.
That's how, literally, that's how I was talking. Like, you know, I had brain injuries. I broke five teeth in my mouth, broke my jaw, dislocated my pelvis, 2 skull fractures, brain bleeding, and literally I could not really even hold a full conversation. It's like a starter box. But
you have 2 warrants, and now you have to explain in a way that you can't even articulate because you don't have the motor function to even say something to your supervised release officer that, hey, I've been in a coma.
And what was crazy is they switched my parole officer. Shout out to Agent Baker, man. Thorough parole officer, man. A brother, man. Thorough. But they switched my parole officer in that time of those couple of months. I got a new probation, a new parole officer, and he was a young black guy and was going for the gusto,
trying to work his way up the ranks.
And that ultimately, I seen him afterwards, and that's what he said, man. I was new, and they did, you know, I didn't want to seem like I was giving you like a break. And I was like,
wait. Giving somebody a break is when they get rearrested and you say, hey, I'm not going to write up the probation warrant.
The violation.
The violation until there's a disposition from court. You were recovering from a near fatal car accident.
I didn't even, I didn't the cause of it. I don't even drink.
You're talking about.
That's crazy.
This is how inhumane.
This is how, when you think about like how this system victimizes us even more and how it exploits us even more. You got the trauma from a car accident. You have the trauma from rehabilitation. You have the trauma from nearly losing your life. Then you also have the insecurity of emerging from that car accident, not how you were in your sound mind, in your sound faculties, like how it was before. And then you got to deal with the freaking an arrest warrant from your parole officer because you ain't report. That's absolutely asinine.
And on top of that, he got to worry about them sending you to jail in that condition because they will do it.
I was getting ready to ask
for
you,
sure.
what was
You're
the fear?
Literally, it was. So I had to, like I said, I was walking with a walker. Like that visual, like walking in with a walker, I had to get my mom to, and I think for those reasons, it was like, I think they didn't go that hard and send me back to jail, but they wound up giving me another year supervision.
Oh, hold up. Somebody call Meek Mill. Somebody call Reform Alliance. Somebody call somebody. Somebody call somebody in order to get this situation completely. This is
insane,
crazy.
And the response was, and at the time, my ex, my mother, they like somebody could have better properly. I could have had one of them properly communicate. I'm like, my mom is not worried about.
Your mom is worried about her baby getting right,
get correct, and it's like nobody not worried about that. And
they rather have you communicate that than admit the gaps that they have within
that
them
part,
being notified through whatever medical care system. You know what I'm saying? If you bringing somebody in, y'all should have been able to communicate that amongst each other.
And it's just like even past that point, you see my condition. It's not that I come in.
It ain't like you faking.
It ain't like I coming in there and I'm like.
It ain't like it's a situation where, hey, the dog ate the homework.
Right. More clearly see, I'm missing teeth. I got scars. I got stitching. I'm
got the medical records to show.
And I think when I reported, when I did finally call, they was like, make sure you bring your paperwork. So I think I forgot a paperwork. One of the discharge papers,
which is common in the traumatic brain injury.
Right. Exactly. He like, yeah, you only got one. Where's the other paper at? I'm like, bro, dog, I'm here.
You trying to remember what you ate 3 days ago.
and that's for sure. And that was just a wild thing, man.
Wow.
That was just a wild thing. Yeah.
Wow.
And there's actually March 19th. What's today?
Probably the 19th.
19th.
Today's the night. Oh, so that's crazy. March
18th. 18th.
Okay, so then tomorrow, early in the morning, will be
the anniversary.
8 years since I've been in that 2006, March 19, 2016.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. Pivot back to you, brother. Talking about PTSD, one of the things I write about in this podcast called Illmatic, when we talk about the intersection of hip hop, we're talking about surviving the beats of life and also overcoming the breaks. And one of the things I talk about often is the new PTSD, prison traumatic stress disorder, and how I remember when up until just a few years ago, and even sometimes occasionally, when I'm at a hotel, when I'm traveling, I still take a shower in my boxers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, no. I still put the shower shoes on.
I just was about to say that.
The shower shoes on.
Just was about to say that.
Yeah. So when you have a life sentence, number one, talk about what was that life? What was that like for you to feel like there's no hope?
Of course, it start out like that because it's all new to me. Like I've never been arrested a day in my life, not as a juvenile.
So
nothing.
you go into the system
Straight to life.
like straight to life.
Yeah,
like Claude and Ray.
straight like that.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to like process all that, and then also trying to process I might not ever come home again.
And say, how old was you?
Never day in my life. I was 21.
Damn.
Yep, I was 21 years old. So I'm trying to process that. Now at that time, like the stress and all that didn't kick in yet. Is more so like the shock. So I'm trying to figure out.
People
like,
don't talk about the shock. We get to the stress, but we don't talk about the shock because there is a shock value to just being incarcerated to begin with. I did 14 years. Reg, how much time you did?
3.5.
3.5.
I lost 3.5 myself.
3.5, right? So we're talking about almost 20 years here so far. And you think about the shock of what it's like to go in. And now you're talking about having gone in, and we probably have been predispositioned, juvenile records, et cetera, right? So you got a familiarity of the system, but you go straight from the porch. Like, do not pass go, do not collect $200. You're going straight to jail. You're going straight to the penitentiary.
Where you gonna die at? Like, so that's the mess. So now, like in the county, so now I'm trying to figure out, like, I don't know where to begin to hire a lawyer. I don't know how that works. Like, I don't even know how to use the phone. Like, people had to show me how to use the phone. I don't even know how to use a jail phone. Like, you got to put a code. What code? What's that? Oh, your PP. What's a PP? No, I don't know none of this. Like, so everything is all new to me.
Because you're not socialized. Let's think about the psychology here. I think that Black people, especially Black men, the expectation is that we should be socialized in order to know how to navigate these systems. You go into prison, you get arrested, you call an attorney. You probably called your mama, right? You probably called, right? Like you get into the system, you know who to call. You don't even know how to pick up the phone to call someone because you don't know how the phone works. And the system, society thinks that we're already supposed to be almost like hardwired. We're supposed to be preconditioned in order to understand how the system works.
But you got to also be conditioned to know when you in the county in Philly, you got to be good with people because those phones already be accounted for. So that phone be hung upside down, and that's a group of people's phone. You know what I mean? So if you from certain hoods or whatever, like, you know what I mean? You can't just go, even though that phone look free, you can't just go grab that joint, flip it upside down. You got to be somebody.
Or know somebody that's somebody.
Or know somebody that's somebody.
You ain't getting on that phone.
Yeah, you ain't getting on that phone. Phone upside down and all. It's like, no, this fifth phone. No, this such and them phone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so that's another part of the even begin that process. You might got the rumble for
you might have to fight. You might have to scuffle just to let it do it.
Yeah, like you trying to get all that together. I ain't had that problem.
You're trying to call a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be a whole line. Hey, Louis, no lie. It'd be a whole line. And you might be in line thinking it's your turn next. If you don't know nobody, you know, somebody can walk from all the way from the basketball court to the, you know what I mean, the TV, get right in front of you because they picking that phone up, they homie passing it over to them. Ain't no standing in line.
Yeah.
So like he said, you got to be somebody or know somebody that's on that block and have that respect, period. Just even, you know, coming from the street, just having that respect.
Wow.
And they be like, all right, bro, come on. And you walking right in front of everybody else. And if somebody got a problem with that, Like taste it. That's a ring.
Yeah, you gotta take it there.
Wow. So you go from doing life. You how many years you did?
13.
My math ain't mathing.
I did. They're a little over 13.
So you do 13 on a life plus 32 year sentence.
Mhm.
What is it like for you the day that you find out you coming home?
Oh man, like I didn't even know that I was coming home that day. Like I know the whole process, like everything that's going on, and in 2021 is when I first knew, like, all right, I'm going home. It's still a process, but I know I'm going home now. So, court dates keep getting postponed, and they want to play the games. We not ready. We ain't got enough of this. So it's all them games being played. So fast forward to 2023 or whatever, I get one of the witnesses that was on the case. He come forward.
Mm-hmm.
He goes down to the DA's office. Listen, man, before I leave this earth, I want to make it right. Mm-hmm. I want to clear my name, and I want to clear his name.
Wow. And Philadelphia has the prosecution integrity unit through.
Right, they helped me out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they helped me out. So that's actually who he went down there to see. Mm-hmm. He went to go see Mike Garmisa, mm-hmm. which is the head of the CIU, and mm-hmm. Rebecca McDonald, which was the DA on my case.
And this unit is basically supposed to be looking at convictions that have a degree of corruption or suspicion around it. Is that correct?
No, innocence.
Innocence.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So they collect all the information or whatever. So the day that I actually came home, now I was informed by my lawyer, like, everything happened, you're going to be going home, but 9 times out of 10 a day, they're going to give us a 2-week notice. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, so I'm expecting to go home in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I don't call my lawyer in the morning. Mm-hmm. I wait till the afternoon. I'm going to wait till the court hearing over. I'm going to call him. When I call him, I hear my mom in the background. So now I'm like, you still don't want to believe it. You don't believe it until you out that door.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how much they put in front of you and say, bro, you going home. You don't believe it till you actually walking out that door.
Yeah.
So I hear my mom in the background, and I'm like, hold up, what's going on, Mr. Cooley? Like, you didn't get the news, buddy? I'm like, no, what news? He said they letting you go. Oh. I dropped the phone. I'm running around the whole block. I'm running around yelling, acting crazy. Like,
did you cry?
I'm just,
I got tears. I got tears in my eyes, man. I had to ask. That's emotional for me, man. That's emotional for me.
I still cry. And then to see how everybody was cheering for me, everybody was rooting. When I say the warden, the lieutenant, the sergeants, all the inmates, dudes leaving their housing units coming over there, bro, give me a hug, bro. Happy for you. Everybody happy for me, you feel me? Because while I was in there, I did a lot of stuff for people, you feel me? Yeah. So I ran organizations and stuff like that, giving back money to the community, all that type stuff, help
from
Victim
prison,
Awareness Week, inside prison, I'm doing all of that.
If anybody has a question about if there's anything that's good that can come out of Nazareth, just come see. But go ahead, my brother. That's a word. That's a word. Yeah.
So the response was different. So now I go back, I pick the phone up. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, hold on, Mr. Cooley, what's going on? So when I'm going home? You're like, dude, we're on our way to get you right now. I dropped the phone again. I started running around the block again. I'm running around again. Then you just hear everybody kicking the doors. Free Ruger, yeah. They going crazy.
Yeah.
They going crazy. Dudes walking on the block from their house and the word spread around the jail like wildfire.
Yeah.
Cause dudes when dudes be leaving and stuff, everybody always come to me bro, I'm ready to go home, you're a good dude. I want to see you make it out that joint. Keep your head up, keep fighting and all that.
I'm happy for you.
Bring a level of hope. Bring a level of hope for the brothers. When you felt like they finally went ahead and kind of gave you that okay, you was 2021 and stuff like that, how did your days transform? Like your day to day? You might have just been waking up, just, whatever, versus your routines even changing when you start, when the favorable decisions start going for you in court. What was that transition? Once
that news came, it's kind of you get a little bit of relief now. It's a little bit of pressure off your shoulders. And then also where most of that relief come from is I see my hard work paying off now. I'm putting that work in. Yeah. I'm putting that work in, bro. I'm talking about I know it take on average 25 years or more to give a life sentence back. Mm-hmm. So I had
Which in effect is serving a life sentence.
Serving a life sentence.
To get the life sentence off you.
Yep.
Yeah.
right. So my thing is now I'm trying to break the record. I'm trying to break the record. I'm not trying to do 25, 30 years before I come home. I'm trying to get this life sentence back in the amount of years that nobody ever did it before. So in order to do that, now I got to lock in and I got to work even harder. So that was my focus. Then you got to train your mind to think a certain way. And what I mean by that is like, I went in jail. I'm in love. I love my kids, man. Like on that type.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking about that. I'm losing my family, losing my kids. I'm losing the girl. I'm thinking about all of that.
Yeah.
But in there, you can't think about that. That's a weakness.
Wait. Yeah.
Like that's a
stay
weakness.
Stay there. I did 14 years in the feds, upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
I never hung up a picture of my family when I was incarcerated.
Right. See,
I never put a picture of any of my baby mamas, right? Like my sister, nobody.
Right.
Reason being is because I did not want to have a vulnerability that could be exploited.
right. Yeah. I didn't know that was normal though until I came home and started talking to people about that though. Like I didn't know that was normal. I thought I was the only one that did that. Like to train my mind to think a certain way. So now I can't worry about bro on the blocks putting some money on my books. I can't worry about who my girl out there laid up with. I can't worry about this dude that's putting his hands on my sisters. I got to lock in on me. You feel what I'm saying? I got to lock in. I got to have this super laser focus that I never had before. Also, I'm going to die in jail. It's that simple. Like, me personally, a life sentence being in jail is the closest you could be to death without being dead.
Period of life.
Like, it's just that's a different kind of stress that you could never imagine, like all of that, but you still gotta stay focused.
Yeah.
So that was my focus. Now when I get the news in 2021, this stuff starting to look good or whatever. So now I say, all right, so I got that part almost over with. Now I gotta work on me. So now I gotta work on myself.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't go back out there with that same mindset. You
At
can't
all.
go back out there on that same type time.
At all.
So now I'm more so focused on programs. So I'm doing all the programs like, how to be a better dad and all that type stuff. I'm working on me now. You feel me? And I'm coming up with plans.
When you went in?
My kid was 2 years old and 2 months.
Yeah. I'm sure by the time all of us like spent time, you know what I mean, in those jails in the system, we all was parents.
Yeah.
We all was fathers, right?
Yeah.
We all was fathers.
I had 5.
Man, at the time.
I had 3. I had 3 when I was 17.
Man, I just had 2. So yeah, I had 2. But what? Because I know how that experience was for me, and it's crazy because like my first few months, I was telling my son's mother like, "Yo, I don't want no visits for the first few months," because I was still trying to finagle, find out how could I get out or get a bail reduction. Because I was just like, tell my kids I'm at work. I ain't want them to see me on no visit in that orange jumpsuit. So I was just like holding off to the point where it was just like, all right, it's been too long now. You know what I'm saying? The work thing ain't gonna work.
It's only so long.
Yeah, only but so long.
You only could be in the army for so long.
Come on.
You only could be at work for so long.
for so long. So it's like, but Reg, Donta, like how was that? You Reg, like, you know what I mean, as a father,
So it what's crazy is my last I got incarcerated in 2007, came home 2008. So I miss my daughter being born. She was born February 27th, 2008, and I came home April 2nd because it's crazy. I went to court on April Fools, and they was like, yeah, my lawyer was like, you going home?
You ain't go to court for the. You ain't go to court for the for the car accident.
No. This is
They like April Fools. You got to add another year.
on April Fools, they was like, you going home? And I was like, is this the April Fools?
Right.
My lawyer, she's like, nah, like, you going home?
How much did that impact you mentally that you didn't get to see your daughter?
Oh man, it messed me up a good deal because what's crazy is like I say, like I never wanted to be like my father. Like the same sad song that unfortunately too many of us have is that we grow up in like single family households where majority of the time is mom raising us. But it was like, I knew who my
grandmom.
Old grandmom,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
My auntie.
Yeah.
But not the fathers being around. And, I knew who my father was, but my father wasn't in my life. And, every time I would see my father, he would have like, like a gang war story for me, about JBM and all this kind of stuff like that. And it was like, you know, you a kid, you hold on to anything. I held on to that stuff. And it was like my first time being incarcerated that big. I wound up at the jail my dad was at, and it was like coincidence, like a crazy coincidence. But it was crazy is because like my dad ain't, I like, you know, my dad ain't teach me how to ride a bike, throw a football, nothing like that. But my dad taught me how to jail.
What does it mean to know how to jail?
Basically, to like what these brothers was saying, like, you can't get on that phone. That ain't your phone. You're not walking around this block with no flip flops on. When you go to the shower, you're not wearing no flip flops. Put your boots on. Put the skippies on. You know, is like just the mannerisms of how you're supposed to act. When if it ain't your business, mind your business. Keep it pushing. Don't look at nobody's cell when you walking past, or you know, just like the etiquette,
all the prison etiquette, that you
correct.
need in order to survive.
You need. That's the correct word.
Yeah.
Need. Yeah.
My rabbi, my co-defendant, he we in a child hall. I'm still on the quarantine block at House of Correction, and he like, yo, right,
That's filthy.
he like, yo, that's your pop. I'm like, bro, that ain't my fucking dad. Like, he like, so my name Fr8 Train. That's where I got my street. I got my name from my father. But he like, yo, Fr8 Train. And my dad turned around and started going bananas. And my dad is a big dude. He started trying to like pull the child hall table up from the floor. But you know, the captains and the, you know, the lieutenants, people, you know, they knew, you know, he been in it for one day. He's like, you know, what's going on? And he's like, that's my fucking boy. And like the whole attention from the child hall shifted to me. And so like they brought me over there like, this your father? I'm like, yeah. So, you know, he crying and stuff like that. And eventually, as I got out of quarantine a couple of days later, we were Sullies. And it was just one of those things like, you know, you don't know how much stuff that you suppress. You think that you over it.
Yeah.
I was 21.
Yeah.
I got locked up October 9th. 2027, I turned 21 November 1st. So I turned 21 in jail.
You spent your 21st birthday in prison with your father.
With my father.
How many birthdays did you spend with your father prior to going to prison that you can remember?
I can honestly say 0. Like, you know,
That's the purpose. That's the purpose of how meaningful and impactful these conversations are. Because it's crazy. Because like, Tay grew up around the corner from me. My mom was married. Wasn't my dad.
I never knew that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's people from down our way that's locked up with my real dad. My real dad been in our job my whole life. I don't got no relationship. I told myself the same thing. I was never going to be like him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He came home one time in between breaks. I was older though at the time, so I'm running around. I probably was about 20. Matter of fact, a year before I got locked up. And I threatened him. Like, yo, don't ever try to come around. He left a number and was trying to talk to me. I ain't had no rap. I was still angry. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, a year later, I found myself in a position, not only for my kids, and I feel like...
And that, to that point, Pastor, like you said, you got to change your mindset, man. It's like, yo, and being in the cell, my dad, it's like, yo, we got a lot of the same qualities, man. My dad is a charmer. He's very good with the words. Like, he's very good with the words. He's a kind person. He will give you the last off his back. So we, you know, good dude overall. And I was just like, you know, to myself, it's like
I have to discover who my father is within the context of prison.
So,
and not necessarily be able to have learned from these attributes of who he was on the basketball court or in school or even in the home, even if he wasn't in the home, right? Like, you know, him showing up at the crib. I got to learn this as my father is my bunkie.
It was like, again, it's so many things that you suppress that you think that you over it. And it's just like, you really just suppressing it. I'm like, yo, man, I'm not going to be like, no, like how like Will Smith had that breakdown on the Fresh Prince.
When he saw his father.
When he saw his father, it's like, yo, like, I ain't going to be nothing like you, dog, man. Like, and I was just like, yo, Reg, you being like, you coming into jail, being in and out of prison, man, you're being, indirectly, you being just like boy. And I was just telling him, like, we got into a fight. And like I said, my dad's a big dude. At the time, I think I was probably like 140 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
And he, you know, part of his anger and frustration, he fighting me back too. Like, you know, because a lot of words was resonating because it was truth. and we fight in the cell. I was like, yo, man, you hit me again, man. I'm gonna stab you in your sleep. I'm gonna stab you in your neck.
Your father, who you've had basically the sporadic relationship with, he's making cameo appearances on your life. You get to prison, spend your first birthday with him at 21 in a cell, and then ultimately you and him get into a physical
fight in our cell. And because it was one of the things, like I was out.
You talking about? This reminds me of Jay-Z's Meet the Parents, right?
Oh yeah.
Like that's what this is reminding me of. Like
that go back to them jail do's and don'ts though. Like even though that's your dad, it's still got to be that persona. Nobody gonna play with me in this joint.
Not even nobody. Not even your dad.
Like, it don't. Nobody.
Not even your son.
Nobody gonna play with me in this joint. Like that's the mindset. Like nobody gonna play with me. It don't matter.
That's a good joint.
Like you gotta be that way. It's either that or you gonna be fooled in that joint.
Because to that point, he come to the block. Again, I get up out the bed. I know a lot of people on the block. I feel like my own cockiness, my own person. Like I'm him. Like I'm cool. I ain't nobody gonna try me. And he come out, yo, go in the fucking cell and make your fucking bed. And niggas looking at me like, yo, Raj, why old head talking to you like that? I'm like, yo, that's my pop. So, first thing niggas thinking like, oh, so that's some kink shit? Like, yo.
Yeah.
It's really your pop, though.
Nah, that's really my dad. That's my father, not my daddy. Daddy.
Nah, that's really my dad, man. I'm like, no, that's like my biological father. It's like, oh shit, they call me your pop. But it was like, that sparked the whole fight in our cell. And I'm like, when I told him I stabbed him in his neck, if he put his hands on me again, that fucked him up. Like, we ain't talked to each other for like 2 weeks in that cell. But every day, like I had a teaching. Like, he had a cheat sheet made for me, like had me like an iced tea cup and everything like that. Yeah. And it was just one of the OGs, Cheese, man. Cheese had a crazy hand.
Y'all use that terminology?
Cheese?
Crazy hand. No, he said crazy hand, meaning he knew how to whip up. He knew how to
he was a chef up north.
Yeah, chef up north. Right. But he was like, yo, he pulled me to the side. He was like, yo, man, that really messed your pop up, man. He was like, but he understand though. We wound up because my dad got released before I did.
Yeah. How was that for you when he got released?
My dad had we had the commissary, we had cigarettes in jail. So we had like a little thing going on, and he had a little thing going on. Let me say that. Yeah. He had a little thing going on to where as though when he left, everybody knew like, all right, we're gonna run down on him. We're gonna run down on his cell. He got because he ain't that big. I said, I was like a bean 40. Yeah. But when he left, he just like, yo, he left me in position as so much as he could. Like, yo, look, you got the commissary. Yeah. You got these cigarettes. You should be cool.
Imagine if that enterprise, that entrepreneurialism that he showed you while he was incarcerated, while you guys were incarcerated. Imagine if he would have showed you that just 10 years prior. Correct. Imagine how much further you would have been if not for that. Yeah. I want you to take us to the day that you get out. What's the first thing that you do?
The first thing that I did, this is crazy. I went to the gas station and ate some gas station food though. Like, it's like, no, because we come out, like cameras and all that out there and stuff or whatever. So they like can't have all these cameras and stuff from the jail. Y'all got to pull around the corner to the gas station. Yeah. So that was the
do some gas station.
That was the first thing I did. But no, the very first thing I did as a free man, matter of fact, was I don't know, like my brother timing was just perfect. Like my brother in jail. Yeah. So as soon as I get in the car, we pull off, my brother called me. So that was like the first thing I did. I got a jail call from my brother. So that was like, that's a feeling that like, that was a crazy feeling. Like,
what time TJ
got? He got 9 to 20.
Okay. How long here?
He got 4.5 in. Yeah.
So your brother is in on a 9 to 20. You get released off of a life plus 32, and the first phone call that you take when you get out is your brother, who is 4.5 years into that 9 to 20 years.
Yeah, he dodged a life sentence. He actually took a deal for murder 9 to 20. So he dodged a life sentence. Yeah. Like, so he actually like came up. But that feeling right there though was just like, I'm the person that's pressing 1 to answer the call now.
And you were 15 minutes prior.
15 minutes prior, I just
Somebody answer for you.
somebody had to press one for me. Like, so that was just like, that was crazy. Like, and it just felt like my feet wasn't touching the ground. Like when I say that to everybody, like, what you mean? Literally for 2 weeks, it felt like I was walking on air. I never thought I would see the light of day again. I really, like, I'm going to die and just.
Since your brother was in for that 4.5, did y'all ever cross paths in any of the jails? Or were you even able to talk to him? Or that was your first time talking to him since he was down?
Yep, that was my first time talking to him since he, not since he was down. I'm lying. You already. I had a cell phone. 11 out of my 13 years, I had a cell phone. Okay. I always found a way to get a cell phone. Yeah. Okay. So I would talk to him like that sometimes when he had have a phone.
Backdoor, back through back channels.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. Reg, what's next for you?
I came out of high school with a certification as an electrician, but last year I got like licensed. The year before I had got like my other license for like for the solar panels installers, so smaller smart homes, and then I got my organization, straight road to the state road. I've more so been kind of taking like a backseat approach on that because of like just the climate in Philadelphia. I have 2 teenagers. Yeah. My 2 children, they 2 months apart, to the day. Yeah. And, my son, I took him out of school. My son is actually homeschooled.
Not the same.
How you like that?
It's safer. Okay. It's safer for me. It's safer for like my child. Like I know my child. Like he's a follower. And
unfortunately, you want to stop that transgenerational pathology before he being that ain't just gonna happen.
Sure. So
and you just came back from Puerto Rico.
I did. Well, my lady, it was her birthday. So
it was her birthday.
It was her birthday.
Shout out to your lady and her birthday.
Shout out to my bear.
If she would have been around last night, I would have took her to meet Trey Songz. You may not have had a girl after you met. She met Trey. Still your girl. Still your girl.
Reg is super talented, man.
Yeah,
brother. Like one thing about him, man, and I just always respected that from afar, man. That brother. DJ, you know what I'm saying? Cut hair, you know what I mean? Electrician, very, 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 very resourceful, man.
Well, look, we're going to close this episode of Illmatic, surviving beats, overcoming breaks.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead, because you got to cut my hair after we get done.
So, Brother Lewis, man, I met Brother Lewis 2019.
Somewhere around there.
2019 up at Rock Nation. And it was like a little indiscrepancy with our little stuff, man. But he good dude, man. And not just saying that because you're on my face, man. Because I tell you this all the time, man. But good dude, man. Like came through many a times after that. Like last minute stuff. Like Lou, I'm at the front door. I can't. My credentials ain't letting me get past this part. All right, cool, but I appreciate you, Lou. Like, I appreciate you, bro. Like, I'm happy for everything that's going great in your life.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
And that means a lot. That means a lot. Because the inference, Pastor Carl, is that I check myself into mental health treatment, dealing with grief, where I lost in the course of a year. I lost my father. My father was a victim of opportunity. At 81 years old, he was robbed. He was assaulted leaving an ATM on his way to Juma. And for 2 weeks, he fought for his life and he passed away. And during the interim, I lost 4 other people, plus my sister, plus my son that I was estranged from. And when I disappeared from social media, Reg was one of the people that was texting me, yo, bro, where you at? You ain't active, right? And so the same way that you just said that your feet didn't touch the ground for 2 weeks, I hope that the rest of your life, that your feet never touch the ground, no matter how heavy life gets, that your feet never touches the ground, as with yours, my brother. So the same way that you appreciate me, I appreciate both of you.
Wow.
I appreciate you, Pastor Carl, as well. Didn't mean to get heavy at the end.
You gotta talk about that, man. Too. I wanted to get into that mental health thing.
Yeah.
That's a big.
And I wanted to touch on that too, because that same year, 2016, I tried to commit suicide, and that right there was like, it was one of those things like people say like I used to say this myself. Somebody who try to commit suicide, man, don't care about their family, they weak, and I thought very much of my family to the point like I was like, damn, I know they don't pay out life insurance on
policies,
on suicide. I tried to make it look like an accident. I beefed and I waited months, and it was just like so much. It was just a collaboration of different things that I was going through, and what's crazy is I went to like 3 different therapists, and like it wasn't working. Like I didn't feel it working right, and upon me having to go to a dental visit at Penn Dental, I actually met their he was like the counselor of like for the school, like their grievance counselor for school, and he was in getting dentist work done too, and just being vocal about
your life experiences.
And we had a conversation, and he really helped me. He helped me get through that, only for him to fall victim to the same situation. He helped me.
I tell,
and I just felt this out last year, and so yeah, man, like that mental health capacity is like a real thing, man. It's not just like a cliche statement that's just like everybody's throwing around. That's something that's really real.
You don't understand it unless you go through it. That's what I be trying to tell people. And it's something that you cannot control.
Yeah.
Like I have episodes all the time. Like I call him every time. Like I call my bro. Like bro, this is what I'm going through. I was balled up in the corner today, just crying. I don't know why I was crying. I couldn't stop myself from crying. I don't like that mental health stuff is real, man. But I got to get my brain back to normal and get it off of prison.
You know something? It may not ever be back to normal because prison is part of our experiences. I think that we can be better than how we were before. But I don't know what normal actually is when you think of considering our circumstances. That is, we're gonna place this we're gonna put a placeholder in this conversation. We're gonna pick it back up, and we're gonna have another episode of Illmatic, Surviving Life Beats, Overcoming the Breaks. I appreciate you, my brother. I really do, and I'm glad that you're home.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Reginald. Appreciate you, my brother. Till next time, we out of here. Peace.
Until next time, like, subscribe, share. Illmatic Podcast. Overcoming beats, surviving breaks. See you next time.